proclaiming the fullness of truth with clarity and charity.
Heard around the world on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Welcome to Mother Miriam Live on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network with live video streaming brought to you by LifeSite News and the Station of the Cross. Call Mother with your questions at 1-877-511-5483 or email her at mother@thestationofthecross.com. You can view the live stream on Facebook at Mother Miriam Live. Now, here's Mother Miriam.
Hello, beloved family. I know we're here. I don't see you yet, but I know that we're here. I don't know what's happening. So trust that the voice behind the picture, is here. How are you, dear ones? I'm so happy to be with you. You know, the few times that mechanics go awry, I think is miraculous that they work 97% of the time. I think it's just fantastic. So we have a special program today, and I see Father Altman. I don't know if we can hear him all right.
Yes.
Are you there, Father?
I am.
Oh, all right. Hold on a moment. I have to do something now on my end. Now say something.
Okay, I can hear you.
Got you, Father. Everybody in the world listening through the Station of the Cross and LifeSite News, you are seeing Father James Altman, the magnificent holy priest. He doesn't hear me saying this, so it won't affect his pride. From the pastor of St. James the Less in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Last time I said Missouri. Go figure. I said Missouri. So I was corrected. Father is in Wisconsin. They know where you are. The subject, beloved, is we're just days away from the election. And you might be tired of hearing about the election. But I'm not, because we are headed for disaster. We are headed for disaster. And I know someone with an incurable disease, and it will mean death. They've had it for years, and they're slowly dying, and there's really no cure. But what the doctors are trying to do is hold back the inevitable, so to speak. That's an awfully grim prediction for our country. But I think right now we are headed for disaster, no matter who the president is. We are headed for disaster. But if President Trump is not elected, we're going to understand what communism and destruction, Marxism, lack of freedom, we will experience what this country has never, ever known. If you see a dog, what's your dog's name?
Griffin.
Hey, Griffin. Isn't he gorgeous? Oh, wow. A Great Dane, a Great Dane. I've never seen such a thing. He's gorgeous. We can't get off the topic. I just love dogs. We're on the election in a few days more. Now, you will be able to call in during this program, but we will not take your calls live. The call screener is all ready for you. And just state clearly your question, your quandary, your objection, the counsel you wish from Father, anything you wish, tell the call screener, and they will put it on the call screen, and we will read your question. I will read your question, and Father will answer. And many of you have heard Father Altman in that video that went all over the world and had way over 1 million or 1.5 million listeners. And he encouraged the whole Catholic world, except those who don't agree that you cannot be Catholic and vote Democrat. So here we go again. Can you be Catholic and vote Democrat? Well, you can be a nominal Catholic. You can call yourself Catholic. You could be baptized Catholic. But if you vote for death, if you vote for immorality, particularly the murder of millions and millions of children, then you're certainly not a Catholic in good standing. And you're not on your way to heaven, beloved, unless you repent. I love Father Altman because he tells the truth. And you've stayed with me, many of you, even though I tell the truth. So we're going to go to Father Altman. Father Altman, dearest priest, God bless you for being with us. This is part 2 of last week. I'm so honored for you to be here and take your time with us and have your presence and your heart. I'm so honored. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It's once again great to be here with you, sister.
Thank you.
Mother.
That's okay. A mother is a sister. This is a good thing. I am looking, this is really amazing. I am looking for an email that already has a few questions on it.
Okay.
Hold on a minute now. And I don't know where I put it. But, Father, do you have the couple of questions that I emailed to you?
I do.
We could start with that, and I'll look for the other ones.
Right.
And, Mike, maybe you could resend that email to me because it has several questions on it. Okay,
sure.
God bless you.
Can I say?
Yes, Father, go
Can
ahead.
I say a quick prayer first?
Oh, God bless you for that.
Let us pray. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Heavenly Father, send your Spirit down upon us. Fill us with the grace we need to be witnesses of our faith unto martyrdom, red or white, to be a light of Christ in this godless world. We ask this grace in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So the first question is, why do you say that it is a sin to vote for a Democrat in this election? That's the first question that you sent me. And I think what I'll do is I'll begin by referencing. I understand that just yesterday, Archbishop Listecki of Milwaukee sent out a letter to everybody saying, listen, there are 2 issues to concern ourselves with in this election. The first is religious freedom of religion, and then our babies. So I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. So, well, I'm not sure if it was in that order. Those were the 2 things to worry about. But if we don't have freedom of religion, we won't be able to defend our babies, because our religion is a defense of babies, and so we better have freedom to do it. So I haven't seen the letter with my own eyes. I was just simply told this. So I'm assuming it's true. And that wouldn't surprise me, because Archbishop Listecki loves Holy Mother Church. He loves the faith. And he was my ordaining bishop. He was a great inspiration and witness of faith to me. So tireless. He had a heart attack. He drove himself to the hospital. That's how cool and tough is Archbishop Listecki. So anyway, the point is that there's one candidate. I don't even have to name the name. We all know he's against the 3. Even the USCCB says he's against the 3 intrinsic evils. We're done with the inquiry. That's all you need to know. You cannot vote for him and be Catholic. You don't have to. You want to go ahead, just quit calling yourselves Catholic. You know that. Have you ever heard that phrase? I know you have. A rose by any other name is a rose, right? So a non-Catholic by any other name, even if he calls himself a Catholic, is not a Catholic. The flip side is also true. So if you're going to be Catholic, it means you're going to do exactly what the Catholic Church has handed down to us, the truth, the unchanged, unchangeable truth, since the days of Jesus, since the days of the first apostles who wrote the Didache, where it specifically says, I think it's paragraph 2, says, you can't do a thing to harm that baby in the womb, period. So from conception, you can't do a thing to harm that baby in the womb. So that's Catholic. If you don't like it, well, then get out. You know, I don't get it.
Father,
so you can't be Catholic and vote for a Democrat.
We have 45 minutes to go. Calm down.
I mean, that is true. I wish there was clarity.
Well, I would just say you can get out, but I'd rather say repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Repent.
Repent. But if you're going to spread poison,
that's right. That's right.
At least if you listen, when somebody comes into the church, they say, what's the phrase? It's I affirm, I accept everything that the Catholic Church teaches, right? Because it's been handed down, unchanged, unchangeable. So you can't then say accept it. So they hear that phrase, cafeteria Catholic. There's no such thing as a cafeteria Catholic. There's cafeteria fake Catholics, but Catholics are Catholic, and it doesn't mean we're not sinners. We're all sinners, but it means that you at least accept and affirm the truths that are taught.
Well, let me interrupt you again because I know some of the people that have sent these questions. And they would say, I do accept. I'm absolutely a Catholic, and I accept everything. I just cannot vote for a man with a history and a personality like Trump. I agree with abortion, but there's other issues as well, all of that. Yeah. But it almost is a huge emotional thing, dear Father, I've picked up from people. Yeah. What they're not going to vote for Trump no matter what, and they're Catholic.
Right. Yeah, I can answer that. Again, then but surely don't. I said you can't vote for the other guy. I did not say, I have never said vote for Trump. Personally, I think you should, just for the purpose of making sure the other guy doesn't win and more babies are murdered. Right. So here's the thing. Okay, so watch. Here's something that every one of those people who say what you just said should consider. If we are going to keep bringing up historical sin on behalf of one candidate, we can do that with every single candidate, like Bill Clinton, like
or a terrible
Obama,
terrible personality going on today. So it's not just past.
Yeah. Do we have to go because music's playing?
Talk for 30 seconds.
Okay, so if we're going to start doing that, we better hope Almighty God does not look at our path and say, I'm judging you today on your path.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, if we're going to judge Trump today on his past, then God will do the same thing to us, and God help us all. We're all in trouble. So what's going on today. This is why we're voting what's going on today. Not because of some past, not because of with that Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, they allege he said something in his yearbook or something. What's going on today here? And today, Biden. That's funny.
Trump.
That one candidate is saying, kill all the babies.
Biden. All right. You made him.
Yeah, I know. Birds of a feather.
Oops. Okay. We need to take a break, beloved. We'll be right back.
The future of the family is grim. As Our Lady of Fatima said, the final battle will be for the family. It truly seems as though we're in the heat of this final battle, and we need your help. Our mission at LifeSite News is to educate and activate readers with the information they need to defend life and the family and restore Christian culture. We are currently the most popular pro-life website on the internet, with over 40 million unique users every year. And we've been experiencing an even bigger reach than ever this year. But we need your help to reach more of the 7.7 billion people on Earth if we are to truly succeed in changing the culture. Please consider donating to help our mission of promoting the culture of life and fearless defenders of the faith like Mother Miriam. Visit give.lifesite.news.com to give today. Thank you for your support.
Hi, this is Terry Barber from the Terry and Jesse Show. We bring you the gospel with clarity and charity. If you have any questions about the faith or what is happening in the church, be sure to tune in at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific. You can call us during the show, 888-526-2150.
The Terry and Jesse Show, weekdays 2 p.m. Eastern on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network and heard around the world on the iCatholic Radio app.
The Station of the Cross thanks our financial supporters who have enabled us to broadcast Catholic programs for more than 20 years. As a nonprofit lay organization not affiliated with your diocese, our apostolate is listener-supported. Through your generosity, we're able to inspire countless listeners with the gospel message and help lead them to a parish to be spiritually nourished by the sacraments. Thank you for your continued support, and may God bless you and your family.
Welcome to Mother Miriam Live on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network with live video streaming brought to you by LifeSite News and the Station of the Cross. Call Mother with your questions at 1-877-511-5483 or email her at mother@thestationofthecross.com.
Welcome back, beloved family. We are here with a most dear holy priest, Father James Altman, pastor of St. James the Less Church in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I am so honored to have this priest with us now for the second time, part two of trying to help the world to do what is right and our country. Father, and I'm saying that you're welcome to call in the entire hour with anything on your heart. The toll-free number, 1-877-511-5483, or email at mother@thestationofthecross.com. Keep it this hour only on the election and any issue you have with it, whether you agree or disagree, or you have a sincere question. I want to say, dear Father, and to all of you, that I have concluded that a great deal of this voting ahead of us, people are making decisions based on what they like and don't like, based on emotions, not based on the reality of what is murder before us. And so it's very, very important. And if you don't like Father Altman's personality, I happen to love it, but if you don't like Father Altman's personality, then you wouldn't care too much for the precursor of our Lord Jesus Christ, because he was pretty tough, and he wasn't dressed like Father Altman either. Bugs and whatever, bugs and locusts he ate, and wore a little tiny thing. So Father Altman is a called of God, and he is bringing you truth. So call in with anything on your heart. And Father, you're speaking about a person's past. We can't judge someone based on their past. If anyone judged me based on my past, I would probably melt and sink into the floor and die. But what about the emotional aspect? What they believe of his personality today, how he feels toward women, or whatever he does, whatever his language is, that how can you compare that with the murder of babies and whatever else is ahead of us? Very hard.
Yeah, that and our freedom of faith. Our freedom. He's the one that's defended it. He's the first and only president that went to the March for Life and defended life, defends our Catholic faith. So defends Protestant and Christian faith.
That's right.
Yeah, I couldn't care less. Listen, I don't like things about any of them in their personality.
Right.
That's that's like saying, well, I don't like bananas, but I like strawberries or something. Those are. You know what? Thomas Aquinas actually speaks to this directly. He calls them substance and accidents. And accidents are like little things like my hair is kind of brownish, sort of, and that person over there is blonde, or that person's over there is a redhead. I don't like, because you say, well, I don't like, I don't know, pick some color. I don't like that color. So, or I'm attracted to this color, or something like that. Okay, that's an accident. The substance, the fundamental substance is the truth. And Trump is right on the truth, and Biden is dead wrong. So get over your predilection, your preoccupation with accidents like personality or whatever, and start thinking substance. Substance is sin or not sin. Substance is our freedom of religion as a patriot, just for that alone. Think about the substance of what's going on here. You see, that's what's happening. They're worried about the accident. So I don't like the voice. I don't like the whatever. I mean, that's so much as personality. Listen, when it comes, who cares about personality when there's 10,000 babies that are going to be murdered on Saturday?
That's right.
Get over your preoccupation with. Listen, I'll tell them right to their face. Get over your preoccupation with personality when 10,000 babies are going to be murdered Saturday. Do you really want to stand before Almighty God and say, well, yeah, but I don't like his personality? Wait a minute. If you vote for the other guy, 10,000 babies will be murdered Saturday. 10,000 of my children. Well, yeah, but I didn't like his personality. Okay, you say that whole proposition is fundamentally, gravely error.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's the next question on your paper, Father?
Okay. Yeah. Because some people don't like my personality. I'm okay with that. I don't care if you don't like me. But
truth is the issue.
But it's the truth.
They
truth
wanted to kill Jesus. Exactly. He came to bring truth, and they didn't stop plotting to kill him.
Yeah, and do you know what's amazing about that is Jesus. I can't imagine eyes that from which pour forth greater divine love. There couldn't be than Jesus. His voice must have sounded just sonorous. It must have just been so sweet to the ears that were open to hear. His touch of love and healing must have been the miracles he performed in people's presence. And they still crucified him. It's not personality, because nobody had a better personality than Jesus, and they still crucified him. And today, it doesn't matter what kind of, Obama had a nice personality. Are you kidding me? He hated us. And he promoted the killing of babies. So really, you're going to vote for him?
The Antichrist is going to be tremendously charismatic. And, and we will die.
And we will die.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, second question is, why do you say to people who claim that a Catholic should not be a single-issue voter with concern to abortion and that there are other issues that outweigh the abortion issues? Seamless garment. You're saying, what's the difference between the seamless garment? Listen, how many times have you heard the other side talk about, climate change? You know, the big hoax. It is a hoax. People get with it. When I don't have time to go into it now.
Stay on abortion.
Right. So, but they're saying you're not a single issue voter. Well, listen, if that were true, glory be to God, because if you kill the babies, you're going to hell if you don't repent, period. Yeah. We can debate the issue of whether or not it's a climate change hoax. You know, like Margaret Thatcher said, global climate change and all this globalism is a nice word for global socialism, which we know is fundamentally evil.
That's
and always has.
Exactly right. I'm glad she said that.
Oh yeah, it's a profound quote. So we can debate that though, and we can still go to Holy Communion, right? Because it isn't a intrinsic evil. And by the way, there are USC. Listen, thank you USCCB. You don't hear me say that very often. Thank you USCCB for your voter guide, because you identified 3 intrinsic evils and you clearly stated unequivocally Joe Biden was on the wrong side of those 3 intrinsic evils. Thank you USCCB. They then threw in all these 44 other less important issues to confuse us. When it comes to intrinsic evil versus debatable issues, we can debate till the cows come home, and we might not ever agree. But there better be 100% complete and total agreement, assent to the truth of these evils. So don't, even if you want to call it 1, but let's call it 3 intrinsic evils. The USCCB, the bishops of the United States, have said there are 3 intrinsic evils here on this ballot, and Biden is wrong on all of them. Therefore, you cannot vote for Biden. That is so simple. They made it simple. Of course, the DNC made it simple when they said you can't be.
Yeah. Go ahead. You made it simple.
Well, the DNC made it so simple when they said you can't be Democrat and pro-life. Okay. I said it before. I'll say it again. Thank you very much, DNC, for making that crystal clear. You made my job easy.
Yeah, that's it.
So I have not said anything different than the DNC. And by the way, can I say this? That nobody would be complaining, because the right does not complain like the left does. They don't get all running for their crayons, screaming and crying for their safe spaces. If I were to say that you should vote for Biden because he's right on climate change, and by the way, he was dead wrong on incarcerating young black men. He was dead wrong on that. Didn't he sponsor that bill for that was resulted in the arrest and detention of so many young black people? I mean, that was Biden for you. Thank you very much, Joe Biden. You can, even if, I forgot what I was going to say. I just got shook up about that. Another one of his lies. But,
I know. And it's just evil hitting us in the face, and Satan's at work 24/7. And if climate change were true, and the whole North Pole melted on us, and you voted to save babies, you might die in the flood, but you'd be in heaven.
That's beautifully put.
If you were drowned by climate change and you died and you voted to kill babies, you will not be in heaven.
Yeah, there it is. Very succinctly put. But you know, who created the universe? Oh, yeah, that's right, it's God. Who created the earth? Oh, yeah, that's right, it's God. Who created mankind? Oh, yeah, that's right, it's God. So what human being with a brain in their head, God gave us a brain, we're supposed to use it, thinks that we have such control over the earth, the entire earth, and again, so on. This is God's, he's in control. Now, granted, we should pollute less is what I was trying to say. Okay, fine. We all can agree on that, by the way. But, where that line is drawn about what is good for human beings as a whole, for a culture and society as a whole, for the world as a whole, is different from killing babies or supporting the other intrinsic evil.
You know, Father, sometimes people call and they say, what can I do to prepare for the end of the world or the chastisement or whatever it is anyone has? And my answer is the same thing you would do if you know that you die in your sleep tonight. Because we don't know we have tomorrow. We don't know we have tomorrow. And if you vote for the murder, if you vote for ex-Vice President Biden, you are voting for the murder of millions of children at any stage from conception right through till birth. And you are voting for the destruction of religious freedom, he's promised to attack again the Little Sisters of the Poor. You are voting, and if you say, well, then I don't like Trump, and you mentioned this, Father, this is my thought on this. If you don't like Trump, then I'm just not going to vote, and then I'll tell you you're guilty. Because we have an obligation to be good citizens and to vote, and to withhold a vote for President Trump is to vote for President Biden. That's the equation. That's the equation. So it's not as evil as directly voting for Biden, but you are very, very accountable to withhold your vote. It was, I forget the man now, Edmund Burke, I think, who said the only thing needed for evil to prevail is for good men to be silent. We must.
That's exactly right.
I've said I don't know when I voted for anyone I wanted. I've always voted for the best of the worst. But in this, you must do that. You must save babies. It's direct murder, and you will be accountable for it. Of thou shalt not murder. You will be accused of that by God. Not today, not when you vote, not just on your deathbed. So, Father, what's the next question?
The next one is our religion. Sure. Yeah. Oh, there's sound in the bell.
Maybe read the question and we'll answer it after the break.
It says, our religious liberties are at stake in this election. They are. And the choice between the candidates will either mean religious liberty or religious persecution. True? What do Catholics need to understand about the presidential candidates and how our freedom of conscience rights are in danger of being taken away in lawsuit against the Little Sisters of the Poor versus Trump's expanding of religious liberty?
Okay. I was talking about the question I sent you last night that talked about that it's my opinion, that it's just a matter of my opinion, our opinion, which is, of course, it's not. But we'll be right back, beloved. 1-877-511-5483. Don't go away. Call in, beloved.
Love learning more about the church, but confused or disheartened by the struggles we are facing today? Follow LifeSite News Catholic on Facebook, Twitter, or sign up for LifeSite Catholic emails and stay up to date on the constant stream of news about the Catholic Church. Our church is in a time of crisis, and we as laity have a responsibility and a duty to educate ourselves and stay true to the faith. LifeSite News Catholic is dedicated to keeping the laity informed and educated. To follow us, go to Facebook or Twitter and search LifeSite News Catholic. As Mother Miriam always says, we must live as if it were true.
Hello, beloved. This is Mother Miriam. Many of you are familiar with Mother Miriam Live, but I wonder if you have listened to some of the other programs from the Station of the Cross, such as The Catholic Current. Father Robert McTague discusses important topics in the church and in the world each weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern. You can listen anytime to The Catholic Current as a podcast on the iCatholic Radio mobile app.
This is Rick Paolini
and Father Jacek Mazer.
Join us every Sunday morning.
We'll be delving into the diary of Saint Maria Faustina and discussing the topics important in your life.
Whether you're wrestling with willpower or praying for patience, God uses the diary to speak to your struggles.
So tune in for Divine Mercy in My Soul every Sunday morning at 11.
And catch the encore presentation every Tuesday evening at 8.
Jezu ufam Tobie.
Jesus, I trust in you.
Welcome to Mother Miriam Live on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network with live video streaming brought to you by LifeSite News and the Station of the Cross. Call Mother with your questions at 1-877-511-5483 or email her at mother@thestationofthecross.com.
Welcome back, beloved family. How good it is to be with you. I think of the freedom we have to speak like this with the electronics we have, the freedom of religion that we have and that we want to keep, and that we are quickly going to lose unless we put the right people in office. We are here with a most beloved priest, Father James Altman, pastor of James the Less Catholic Church in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're on the election issue, beloved, and we're going to stay on it until we see you at the voting booths. We've got a camera on you. And so we want you to call in with any question you have. Any question you have. And dear Father, the question I was referring to is send out. That's good. I'll just mention that we send out a mailing with a voter's guide. And a good voter's guide, and I said in that letter that oh dear, now I lost my own thing. That if we go ahead, Father, you have it, huh?
No, I had the one that you sent out to me on Monday. The questions. I didn't have that one about opinion. So go ahead and feel free to ask.
That's what I'd like because and read the paragraph before it.
Okay, the paragraph before it I have is for our religious liberties are at stake. So I don't have right before me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, no.
Okay. Well, maybe I can find it. Hold on. I can try to find it.
No. No. Everybody.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Let me just say that what I said in that note is that to vote for the party of death, which the Democratic Party is, there's no question about it. I listen. Well, so much to say, but I listened to the hearings on Amy Coney Barrett. Blessed be God that she's confirmed, and Ms. Klobuchar said that before I begin, I want to make something clear. Joe Biden is a Catholic and a man of faith. Absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue. So. Let me just see. I think I have it here. So I sent out. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and so I'm stumbling here because I had it in front of me and I don't. I'm so sorry. But the issue was that if we vote for the wrong candidate, and if we don't vote for Trump, we're voting for the wrong candidate. It's not a matter of opinion. 2 and 2 is 4. We are going to be plunged, the world and ourselves, into utter darkness and the destruction of our souls. And to that, my friend responded with the next comment, Father.
Okay, you're asking me a question then?
Yes, and so that is the next question you have. It was response.
Our religious liberties are at stake.
That's it, yeah.
That one? And the choice between the candidates will mean either religious liberty or religious persecution. And what do Catholics need to understand about the presidential candidates and how our freedom of conscience rights are in danger of being taken away. You know, this is so clear, crystal clear, black and white, absolutely. And I don't think people understand that our religious liberty has been under attack under every Democrat since Johnson, when he came up with that Johnson Amendment to limit the way a pastor could speak truth in the public forum. I mean, prior to that, you know, as a lawyer, prior to that, we have a Constitution, and the Constitution, it was perfectly permissible. It was perfectly constitutional until Johnson comes along to speak clearly. And there was always separation of church and state in regard to taxation. And what he did was he threatened us with this oh, I'm going to tax you. Well, he doesn't have a right to do that in the first place. The IRS does not have a right to tax us because there is separation of church and state. But that doesn't mean that a pastor can't speak his mind, and that has been the case up until 1964. So how many years is that? 1789, that's 111, and then add 64 to that, so that's 175 years. It constitutionally was perfectly okay for any pastor of any denomination to speak freely in the public square until Democrat Johnson comes along. Now look at under Obama. Look what he was up to. He said he's the one that appointed that guy as a watchdog over the military chaplains and called them spiritual rapists just for being a chaplain. Look what's going on in Canada and in UK, where if you speak the Bible publicly, you get arrested for a hate crime. That's what they use. They call hate. Never mind that they're the ones hating us, right? And then look at what he did for the Little Sisters of the Poor. Really, all you need to do when you go into the election booth is put a picture of the Little Sisters of the Poor in front of you, and then say, "Oh, let's see, who can I vote for?" Right? I think I'm going to vote for the party that supports our Little Sisters of the Poor. Right, let's do that. And then,
Biden,
of course, look at Hillary.
Go ahead.
Oh, completely, yes. And he was part of it under Obama. And then Hillary comes along, and in 2015, she publicly proclaims that she's going to use the power of the government, the force of law, to make us change our deep-seated religious beliefs. Sorry, Hillary
Quote,
Clinton.
unquote.
That is an actual constitutional right. That is an absolute quote she publicly made in an address to women who were toxic feminists.
Yeah.
We got to start saying that. It's toxic femininity. They try and say, oh, toxic masculinity. Listen, God created masculinity. He created woman as well. And the highest saint among us all is Saint Mary, a woman, the Blessed Mother, right? Yes. God loves women, obviously. But it's this toxic femininity that throws God out of the picture, just like they threw God out of the public government schools in the 60s.
Yes, yes.
So our religious, and Trump's the only one since 1964. No other Republican president, only Trump. Well, you know what's not surprising about this? He's not a politician. And that's what attracted people to him in 2016.
That's right.
And he's not a politician now. So, he rubs people the wrong. Listen, politicians can be very sleazy, very smooth, like Satan in the garden. Hey, this is what's good for you. Do you remember when they did Obamacare? He had his little minion, the architect of it, running around to college campuses. They caught him on YouTube, so he quit doing it, saying literally, the American people are stupid and dumb, and so we, the elite, who think we know what's better for everybody, we're going to be the ones that create this Obamacare. And it's so insulting, just like when Hillary called us deplorables. So really, ask yourselves, which party is for our faith? And if you're not voting your faith, then what are you even calling it? Why do you even go to any denomination?
Well, yes.
Sorry, you asked a question. I get rolling, but yeah.
No, I that's why I love you. But it's which party is for our faith. But I think at the moment for the president, it's which person is going to allow America to continue. It's just incredible. Father, let me just read. I found it. Let me just read the
okay, all right, good.
The little note that I sent out in an email with the voter's guide. I'll read it to everybody who maybe didn't get that note. And then I'm going to read a response from it that I'd love you to respond to. And the little note, I sent it out October 7th, Feast of the Most Holy Rosary. And it says, "Dear ones, I've been up for hours trying to gather sufficient information that will prove to the whole world, and especially the Catholic world, the importance of voting as God's people in the presidential election, which is upon us." St. Peter wrote to the first Christians who were scattered through persecution, quote from 1 Peter, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's own people, that you may declare the wonderful deeds of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light," end quote. And then I finished by saying, what can I do but beg you? I borrowed Paul's words from Romans. He begged them by the mercies of God to live a holy life. What can I do but beg you to be what God, through his infinite sacrifice for us, called us to be, a people who bear witness without compromise to the wonderful deeds of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. If we as members of Christ's body vote for anyone in the Democratic Party, including, of course, the presidential candidate, we are cast, now this is the statement, We are casting a vote that will plunge us back into darkness, to evil, to the destruction of the family and of our own souls. And here is the response I had from a friend, convert to the faith, an apologist for the faith. It's just an amazing thing. And she wrote this. This claim that to vote for anyone in the Democratic Party will plunge us back into darkness, to the destruction of the family and our own souls. She says this claim is uncharitable, irresponsible, and judgmental, to the point that I can only refer you to Matthew 7, verses 1 and 2. If you continue on this path, the measure by which you're measuring others might well be measured out to you. Now, I have no problem with that. But Matthew 7, 1 and 2 is the verse, I could look it up, but Father, where Jesus said, take the log out of your own eye before you can see the speck in somebody else's.
Yeah,
that's not, we're not talking about the judgment of the soul, of motives. We can't look into someone else's heart, but we are told to judge actions. We are admonished. If you see your brother sinning, go to him. If he won't repent, take someone else. If he won't repent, tell it to the church. All the time. We are our brother's keeper.
Mm-hmm. We most certainly are. And you know what's ironic is that those people don't seem to go a little further and say, well, who's doing the talking? Are we looking at what 2,000 years of the Catholic Church has handed down to us, the unchanged, unchangeable truth? If somebody knows what that is, and is consistent with it, then perhaps that person has taken the plank out of his eye and can actually say to someone else who has a plank in his eye, get the plank, or get the, why they presume that nobody else has taken the plank out of their own eye, right? They presume that the shepherds of the church, for instance, don't have a duty, an ordained duty to state what you just stated, and so all that is it all wants to resolve down to, well, it's my opinion, it's my conscience. No, it is never. We are not entitled to our opinions.
I'm not
that
interested
is a
in
false
my opinion,
premise.
right?
No, exactly. We're what we're entitled to do, and we're not entitled to our own personal conscience. That's just pure relativism. What you're entitled to, what God has called you to, is an informed opinion and an informed conscience, formed and informed in 2,000 years of unchanged, unchangeable truth.
Yeah.
Part of which is you do call out your brother. That's an act of charity. That's an act of love. I've used that. Maybe I've used it on this show. When I was a kid, my parents would tell me to get off. Don't go play on the train trestle because boys don't pay attention. We're looking at dropping the rocks into the riverbed below. And so if I'm out on the train trestle at 5:07 and you're standing on the side, the 5:10 train is barreling down the tracks, you're going to scream at me, get off the trestle. Right? That's an act of charity, to sit there and just watch it happen and me get run over by the train. Well, that's not love. So if you're doing something improper that is contrary to the intrinsic evils that have been unequivocally defined by the Holy Church, then it is our duty to call you out to it. And you can't just say, "Oh, don't talk to me," because you're just being judgmental. Baloney. That is such a false proposition that it's shameful.
And people say, God gave us free will. I can do what I want, and you have no right to tell me. Well, if God gave me free will, I have a right to tell you. But
exactly.
But the thing is, God gave us free will, the freedom to do right. He never gave us the freedom to do wrong, the freedom to sin. He's allowed us that freedom, but the freedom he gave us is to do right, is to honor God, is to be his children. The truth will set you free, and nothing else will set you free.
Yeah, and look what happened right from the get-go. It's, if you dare to call yourself a Christian, and Almighty God is the creator, he gave Adam and Eve free will. Oh, yes, he did. And what happened when they abused it? Out of the garden, they got sent.
I've always said, Father, that Frank Sinatra didn't invent the words, I'll do it my way. He only put music to it. So
yes,
okay.
right.
All right.
Well, that's
All
good.
Right. Dearest Father, this is the last break, beloved, to our program, and we'll be back right after the break. And we do have a question from a couple of callers on the line, a few callers, so we'll get to them right after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Father James Altman.
LifeSite News is an international news agency devoted to defending life and family and restoring Christian culture. We aim to educate and activate our readers with the information they need to fight the most crucial battles of our day in their churches, workplaces, and families. Our motto is Caritas in Veritate, love in truth. We firmly believe that promoting the truth is an act of love, however hard it is to hear. Over the last 20 years, we have built a reputation for uncompromising reporting, no matter the cost. LifeSite News is by far the most popular pro-life website on the internet, with over 40 million unique users every year and growing. Check us out at lifesitenews.com.
Join us here on the Station of the Cross for the Liturgy of the Hours at 5 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, with the Office of Readings read at 3 o'clock. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20, Jesus tells us, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I, in the midst of them." The Liturgy of the Hours is also known as the Divine Office and is the daily prayer of the Church. So you know you'll be uniting your prayer with priests, religious, and laity throughout the world. It's comprised of small reflections, readings from sacred scripture, and writings from saints and theologians. To learn more about the Liturgy of the Hours, visit thestationofthecross.com. That's thestationofthecross.com. Pray with us each day at 5 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network.
Welcome to Mother Miriam Live on the Station of the Cross Catholic Radio Network, with live video streaming brought to you by LifeSite News and the Station of the Cross. Call Mother with your questions at 1-877-511-5483 or email her at mother@thestationofthecross.com.
Welcome back, beloved family, to Mother Miriam Live. We are with Father James Altman, beloved priest that God sent like Esther in the Old Testament for such a time as this. Father is pastor of James the Less Catholic Church in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I am a happy camper to be with him and just so happy. You know, I wake up every morning, Father, with all the craziness. And every morning, I'm happier than the morning before to be Catholic. I still can pinch myself. I can still hardly believe that I know God really exists and that I know him. I tell people, when I first came to know him, I'd walk in the street, I'd stop strangers. Excuse me, do you know there's a God? You know you could know him. They knew they said, you're crazy. I said, but it's true. You can know. And they say to me, you know God? I said, I know him. You got to be kidding. You know, I know God. I know God. Yeah. So we're going to take a few questions. Okay. And one is from Nellie. It's not a question. She's calling from Ottawa, Canada. And she says, thank you, Father Altman, Mother Miriam, for speaking the truth, even when many people aren't willing to do so in fear of offending people. Next is Gail. I don't know where the other callers are from. Gail says, are we using abortion for birth/population control in modern day society? That's an easy question.
Oh, absolutely. Bill Gates is funding, and so are many others. He's not. We don't want to be just distracted with him. So many others in this globalist whatever. they're coming up with ways to minimize. They really want to eliminate much of the world population. And why? Because they want to keep it for themselves. They're so selfish. Listen, here's a simple way to understand it. God alone, creator of mankind, God alone will decide when there's too many people on the planet. Not us. That's not our call.
Yeah, good for you. Wow, God bless you. And there's, you drive through the United States, it's blank, gorgeous land and hills. We could take many people. My goodness.
I know.
So yes. Okay, let me go on. And not only that. I mean, we know that we are supplying Catholic. CRS.
Catholic Relief Services?
That's it. With millions of dollars to give condoms, the Catholic Church.
I know.
Give condoms to all the children, to millions of children. It's just pure evil. Okay. Then Barbara called and she said, I voted for Trump, but on the Chicago ballot, there are many Democratic judges, but no Republican judges. Is it a sin to vote for them when there aren't any other options for the sake of completing the ballot? Father, I'm going to hold my tongue. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm just startled that that's the case because the party affiliation is not supposed to be, I don't think, on any judge. Mm-hmm. I helped my parents read the propositions on the Michigan ballot to help them understand it because they're voting by mail because they're from there. And when you look at the judges, it's called, the right word is nonpartisan. They're supposed to be nonpartisan. But, having said that, it seems to me that we just had an election in Wisconsin where, I think it was just designated as liberal or orthodox or liberal or conservative. I think there was I don't recall on the ballot seeing Republican or Democrat because that's not the judges like this recent Supreme Court thing just made clear again is that judges are supposed to be nonpartisan. Their personal affiliations aren't supposed to enter into the opinions of the court. So I'm just shocked that that's the case.
If you register for the Democratic Party, could you get a ballot with all Democrats on it?
Well, the ballot itself should not state Democrat. That's my point. It should just say the name. Now, in a city or a county where everybody seems to be the high propensity Democrat, they haven't yet figured out that all they're getting is a fish for the day. They're not being taught how to fish for a lifetime. They haven't figured out that they've been made slaves of the welfare state. They haven't figured that one out yet. I wouldn't be surprised that a majority of the people might have Democrat leanings, the judges, but the judges are supposed to be impartial. Listen, if you commit a crime and you're Democrat, you better hope that you don't have to go before a judge who identifies as a Republican because he might just hit you harder, right? It works both ways.
That's right. It
does. As a Republican, if I commit a crime down there, I don't want to go before someone who identifies as a Democrat. They would hate me. You can imagine they would hate me.
Yeah, that's my goodness.
The judges are supposed to be impartial, no party affiliation. It should say nonpartisan underneath each name.
In this case, Barbara, it doesn't. So what I would say is I wouldn't vote at all if you know that all the names are Democrat. I think it's a sin to vote for any Democrat because their party endorses safe, it's their statement, safe, legal, and unlimited abortion. And if you vote for a Democrat, that person's a Democrat because they believe that. Safe abortion, the baby's being murdered wouldn't say it. So, but it's safe. So, no, I think it is a sin. And I think you just don't. You vote for Trump and you leave the ballot blank. You don't have to complete a ballot. You're not required to complete it.
Adding to what you just said, Mother, that C. Edward Koch, who was the Surgeon General of the United States, and he was a pediatric physician for 36 years, and he said not once in that entire time did he ever see one single instance where there was concern for the health of the mother when she wanted to have an abortion. Had nothing to do with that. It's a big fat lie, and every Democrat who proposes that is a big fat liar, and that's the 8th commandment. That's bearing false witness against those babies.
It is, and it doesn't mean we're not concerned for the mother, but to judge that the mother's life is more important than the baby is to play God, and you're
but in 36 years,
wrong.
He never found a single instance of that.
Yeah.
Not in 36 years. It's a big lie.
I remember him, a good man.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more from Sandy. She says, I've approached my pastor with issues like abortion, but I do not believe he takes me seriously. Should I find a new parish or speak out for change? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
How close are you to La Crosse, Wisconsin? Right. No.
I know, yeah. That's a good one. I would like to think that, and I know this to be true because I know so many priests, but in every diocese there are priests who are more clear on the truth that has been handed down to us unchanged and unchangeable for 2,000 years. I used to drive about 50 miles one way to go to be fed the truth. I wanted to hear the truth, not a bunch of this milquetoast, namby-pamby, nonsense. So
I'm very proud of you. Those words were good.
Yeah. Well, so what?
No,
but it's true.
I'm
So
kidding you.
if you're and Jesus promised, if you seek, you'll find. So if you're seeking the truth, then seek it out. Find it where you will, because there's none of us, myself included, that can't learn more, study more, grow deeper in the faith more, reread Scripture 1,000,000 times and still come up with something new. Every one of us can learn something new. So I would want to go to some place where I was being fed.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think I would stay someplace where I don't know enough. And I'm not, and I know for already going in that I'm not going to be told the fullness of the truth.
Yeah, and that the pastor is not going to support, let alone teach, what is true and good and lead the sheep to heaven. So, dear Lord, Father in heaven, we need 1 billion pastors like Father Altman. There are many good pastors and shepherds, and we ask that you strengthen them and keep them steadfast and keep them safe from the wolves. And we bless you for the faith, the pearl of great price that you've given to us. Have your way, dear Lord, have your way. Father Altman, I bless God for you, and I thank you for being with us.